Hopefully no one's watching me because I look like a proper nutter. Oh, there's a car coming. You know what, guys? You're worth it though. We are ready to do this. So we've got everything that we need now, guys, to get started. That's why I'm so excited. Even to the point where Dave from Aquarium Gardens actually saw the last video and was like, you haven't got enough rock, you need twice that, and he sent me more, so there's more inside. I've got to bring that in a minute. Click subscribe. Thanks very much to JBL for sending us this volcano mineral stuff. It's awesome, like power sandy sort of fit. I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's like a power sand that adds masses of surface area for bacterial colonization to your scape. Basically, it lives underneath the aqua soil. You don't really see it, but it's well worth the investment. I mean, I'm not trying to sell it to you. Buy whatever the hell you want, but I'm just letting you know that's what I'm using. That's what I'm going to be using in all 4 of the new scapes in the new tanks. Aquariums for Life hooked us up with that one there, and then also this custom-y sort of Paludarium, but now they're actually making these. So if you guys want one, get over to aquariumsforlife.co.uk and then you can order one up and you can do what I'm about to do, because this is going to be good. First of all though, we need to get all this stuff out, put it down neatly on the floor, just all sort of everywhere. Every single time, every video, there's a paper towel. I always forget to pack it away. There's paper towel there, there's paper towel there. But then I suppose it's a fish room. You can never have enough paper towel, can you? Hey you guys, enjoy the build. Right, so let's get all this out, get it onto the floor and we can get started. I haven't got time to sit and chat this time. We just need to get on with it. This video is going to be half an hour long as it is. Okay, so here's how we want to do this. I want to start building up the rock in sort of the areas I want it to be in, and then after that we can put the power sand behind it, and that sort of creates a retaining wall, if you like, and then we can start to put our sand in the foreground. At this stage I'm not really planning anything. I'm just going to start placing them in, and then as we go and start building it up, I will start to create some more structure. I do know one thing though, is that I want to build it up with an overhang, because I think that'll be really quite cool to create a shaded area for Pancho to go in when it's like, you know, too bright or whatever. Axolotls don't like a lot of light all the time. They do like to go out in it, don't get me wrong, but they like to have an area they can go where it's just nice and shaded for them. So that's why I want to create that sort of inside cave bit, as well as the overhang, as well as all the Aquaterrarium above ground area, and a waterfall, hopefully, if we can get that in there. But, you know, we'll see how it goes with that one. It might be a bit harder than I'm thinking, but screw it, we'll do it. We'll do it. A really good tip, guys, is just to lay out all of your hardscape on the floor that you've got. You can really see it all properly then, and you can choose the right piece that you want for, you know, whatever you're doing. It's just makes it a lot better. I've got a lot here actually, haven't I? Cheers, Aquarium Gardens. So that's the first retaining wall in. I say first because obviously there's going to be layers, way more layers on top. And now that we've got that in, we can add the power sand at the back to pull it level, and that will give us another base to put the next layer onto. And we need to put our texture sand at the front. Again, that will plug any holes that we've left at the front. You might have seen in the time lapse there, I put a lot of these smaller stones in the gaps that you can just see in the center of the screen there, and there, and there, and there. So that's, and there. So that's covered up. Hey guys, you enjoying this? You enjoying the show? Yeah, they're loving the show. Let's get the power sand and everything in then. Right, I just want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing on the time lapse here. Look, so I'm piling in the power sand at the back, obviously. Then we've got the retaining wall at the front. And then what I'm going to have to do, like I've done on this side, look, is build up the gravel behind it, pull it forward slightly, build up a little bit more gravel, and then use a rock on top to pin it down so it doesn't fall forwards and smash the glass. Now, I wouldn't blame you for thinking, MD, why don't you just put some silicone down, stick it safer, it won't fall down. But then silicone takes time to cure, and what do I not like doing? Waiting. So let's carry on. So at the moment, guys, yes, it does indeed just look just like a pile of rocks. So next thing we've got to do is get our substrate in the bottom. That'll give us a nice bit of colour. But also we need to start adding our wood coming across and things like that. Just tap test, guys. Look, none of this is glued down. Tap. No, we're all good. Look, this stuff's so good at locking into itself because it's just like, I don't, yeah. So yeah, let's get that substrate in and then we can have a little look. This is not going to be a long-term home for Pancho because he's going to grow out of this pretty quickly, isn't he? Let's be honest. I mean, he's about that big on there now. So, I mean, there's a big, don't get me wrong, there's a big footprint of like water to be in there for a while. Not much different, in fact, from where he is at the moment, which is in here, which he's loving, by the way. There he is. Some people in the last video were saying about his, he looked sick because his gills weren't red. Well, look. They're really healthy. There's lots of gills there. They don't go red unless they've been swimming around loads and, you know, oh, got a bit of biofilm on the top there. Get rid of that. Oh, he thinks I'm feeding him now. Ah, he got me. Yeah, so the more they work, look, the redder they go. Even just from that, look, they've gone a little bit redder than when I first showed him. So don't worry about that, guys. He's really healthy. He's doing great. But let's carry on then. Oh, you might also notice I've just bought a wide-angle lens for the Osmo, so we can see everything. We can see it all. It's not cheap, these wide-angle lenses. Well, you can get cheap wide-angle lenses, but I went for a really, not expensive, but not cheap either when you think what it is. So look, this is with the wide-angle lens. Now I'm going to take it off. Boosh. We're basically zoomed in, aren't we? So it's not a massive difference, don't get me wrong, but and then it just clips on like that, and then we got like that. So the difference between the expensive ones is that you don't get any blurring at the edges. If you notice the edge of the screen stops, it doesn't blur. I can't even talk. Anyway, enough about lenses and cameras. Let's get back to the build. Right, substrate in, and then let's start getting some bit of the woods in. Oh, a quick note I forgot to tell you guys. So if you look down here, look, we've got a nice open gap at the back. And that's for our intake to sit down into so that we can filter the water. And then the outlet will obviously come all the way across the top here so that it can trickle down and just feed all the mosses and things we've got. I think I'm just going to stick with mosses for the top. I don't think I want to put any plants in. If I do, it'll be very minimal.
Click subscribe.
Right, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be some kind of pretentious guru who knows what the hell he's doing, but that has turned out great. That's turned out better than I thought it was going to. Like, oh, okay, so the method, right, because it looks like a mess, but I can assure you, if you don't do it the right way, it started to look really bad. Anyway, so diagonals, I don't know if you can see, there's loads of diagonals across loads of diagonals, so you're making like a patchwork, if you like, of the sticks going left to right to left to right. If you don't do it like that, it does just look like a bit of a mess. It looks like a mess now, don't get me wrong, but maybe I went a bit overboard. I don't care, I like it. But remember, there's going to be a lot of moss covering certain areas. It'll all get grown into, so it's just a really good framework for you to be able to put stuff onto and to hold stuff together, so you won't actually see all of it. But I'm really liking this bit down the bottom here as well, look. So it's like the roots are coming through the rock into the substrate of the river or something. I need to stop doing this. What is this hand thing? It doesn't mean anything. So there's still, the idea being that I've left loads of room for Pancho at the front, because obviously it isn't a massive space, but, you know, at the end of the day, axolotls aren't the sort of things that just go tearing around a tank, but they like to go on places and perch, and this little area here is going to be brilliant. I know that Pancho's going to be on there all the time, and that back stick area, I know it. But that's cool. That's what we're doing. We're making a home for Pancho, at least temporarily. You know, after Pancho's got a bit bigger, we've got options. You know, like I'm thinking 900, definitely the 900. I'm going to go for something big in there at some point. Whole tank to Pancho. But, you know, time being, he's only small, and there's no need for a massive tank for him at this moment. So I think this one will be brilliant for the time being. And it'll look really cool. And it'd be so great to have him at the front. I can power feed him as well and clean up all his mess as soon as he does it. Because when axolotls do a toilet, or poo, you can see it straight away. It's like a nugget. So you can get rid of it straight away. And you can keep your water really clean if you're on top of it. If every time you come in, have a little look for the toilet, take it out, you can keep the water nice and clean. And I'm going to be able to do that. It's going to be such good water quality in here. Especially with the black lava rock, which will further filter the water as it trickles down. Plus, there's not going to be much flow as well, which is good. We don't want loads of flow. It's an axolotl. They don't like it. But this is so exciting, guys. Come on! So I posted a picture of this up already, guys, on my social media. And some people were expressing a little bit of concern over the size of it. Maybe it's just the shot I took showed it in a smaller view. But look. Basically, there is loads of room for my tiny little axolotl in here. So what is recommended is a 10-gallon tank, or a 20-gallon tank with 10 gallons worth of water for an axolotl. So for a fully grown adult would be probably, the best bet would be 80 centimeters across. Well, this is 60 centimeters across. My axolotl Pancho is actually half the size of an adult. So, you know, there's so much room in there. And like I said, this isn't going to be a permanent solution. So if you were thinking of getting an axolotl yourself and you only had enough space for one tank, you'd want something bigger than this. But you know, I've got lots of other options, but for the time being, this is going to be brilliant for Pancho to grow in. And like I say, I can keep the water nice and clean in this smaller size because I want to power feed him. I want to get him big. Another thing I want to do now is actually bring this overhang bit out a bit more. So I want to move this stick out to about here so I can put a rock on top of it. And that way we're not taking up any of the water space below, but we are creating a nice shade area, or a cave if you like, for Pancho to go in. Okay, I think that's looking really good. Look, it's really cool actually. Come to the side. There you go. Nice little overhang. And we've got also then, you know, a nice little shaded area underneath, which I'll have like ferns and something around here as well, just to bring it out even further. There'll be mosses up the top, covering it further. So that's really good. But I think we're at the stage now, guys, where we can actually start putting some water in and get the filtration set up at the back, because you obviously want to do that to see where the water's trickling down first, to see where to put your mosses. You can put your mosses in where you want it to travel, if you like, because the moss actually acts like a bit of a wick. So wherever the water touches the moss, it'll actually travel through it to whatever directions you want it to go in, which will be perfect. It means that we can get full coverage with water effectively. Oh, it's going to be sick. So guys, I'm going to be using the Waze Thermo range. It's the Thermo 250, this one. I'm going to be using the Thermo range for every single tank. I think I showed you in a previous video, but I've got 4 of these to go in all the tanks. Now this one has a built-in heater, which you won't actually need for the axolotl. I'll keep it set to the minimum, which is 18 degrees, and that just means if we get a really, really cold day, at least it's going to tick in and keep the water temperature good if we need it to. So the best thing about the Waze filters is this, like you undo this side, and out pops the pre-filter section. The reason this is so good is that obviously canister filters collect a lot of crap in them. Can I say crap? Oh, I said crap. They collect crap. And look, you just got this pre-filter, so all your crap gets caught in these pieces. Some people recommend go for a more coarse sponge. I don't like to. I like to use what they've suggested because they say they get clogged too soon. Well, if they're getting clogged too soon, then good. That means you want to clean them, don't you? Because they're collecting waste. Another thing to note, guys, I've actually added in cycled media from one of my other filters that's been going for a long time, which means that I can basically get this going and have it instantly cycled and set up. If you don't have that, you need to wait until your water's cycled, or not to your water cycle, but until your filter is cycled before you add your axolotl, okay? But, you know, I've always got stuff on standby because I've got so many filters where I can just start up a tank pretty much straight away. Still have to do your water changes to start with just to make sure you're staying clean, but, you know, you're ready to go. So as many of you have seen my videos before will know, I always like to use the water from... Oh, sorry guys. I always like to use the water from my discus tank when I'm starting a new tank. Many people have said that it doesn't actually make any difference because obviously all the good bacteria is not in the water column, it's on surfaces. But I still like to do it anyway, and I've always had good success with it. So I'm going to pinch some water from here, and then I'll just get the first loads of water going in to be from this mature tank that's been going now for 6 months, I think, something like that. Well, the filter itself's actually been going for way longer than that, more like a year. So yeah, we're all good. Anyway, just get the water in. So that's all the water in, guys. I think we're sort of ready to give it a go. Oh, I just want to show you quickly from the side the actual intake pipe for the filter. So it goes all the way up there over the back. So first, So what we should do now is just give it a prime, and to do that, you've got to press this big button here, and it should pull all the water in and come down. I'm going to switch the water on, and we're all going to pretend that I haven't actually given it a trial run already. No, but seriously, that's working great. Look, that's what we want. Just gently going on the top areas. It's quite loud and splashy at the moment because obviously we haven't got our moss and, you know, rocks right up to where they need to be. But I just wanted to get the water going and just see what direction it's going to be going in. Oh, look, that's really good. Water's still a bit murky from that sand, but that won't take long to clear. I want to actually keep one of the areas just free of any moss because it'll be like a waterfall section in that middle area. I think that'll look quite cool. And it'll keep the surface agitation going as well, so it'll stop any sort of biofilm build up on the surface. But yeah, that's cool, isn't it? I like that. I love the fact that you can just reach in. Like, I feel really like connected to it. Do you know what I mean? That's really, really weird sounding, but you like when you look at a fish tank, say take the Ranchu's tank for instance, you feel like there's a very clear divide. Obviously there is, as in like the glass panel, but you do feel like they're there, we're here. Whereas this one, even though there's still the glass at the front, you do feel more into it. It's hard to explain if you've never been near a paludarium. Okay, so what we can do now is start getting some moss. Right guys, so I'm at the place where I get the moss from. It's down a little side road that I saw when I take my kids to school. It's like a little track. Hopefully no one's watching me because I look like a proper nutter. It's raining and I'm about to collect some moss off the floor and talk to my phone. It's a bit weird. Oh, there's a car coming. You know what, guys? You're worth it though. So here's some of the moss. Like literally, this is what I'm talking about. I want some more of the fine stuff. So this is really fine, and the fact that it's been growing on concrete is perfect because it means it's got its own nutrient source look below. And obviously you wash off a lot of that, but that's perfect because if it can grow on here, it can grow on our rocks in the Aquaterrarium. So I'm just going to collect a load of this up and then we'll get back to the studio. Back at the studio, the water's all clear on the Aquaterrarium and I managed to get a really good haul, but I didn't film everything because it started hammering it down and I got soaked. But anyway, this is what I got. So I managed to get all this moss. Obviously, as you've just seen, I've washed it all so it goes a little bit flat just for temporarily. But as the light gets on it and it dries out, it all comes back up and stands up on end again. I got some of this stuff, which I don't really know what it is, but I'm sure you guys will tell me. You have told me before, but I've forgotten. I tried finding it online, but yeah, too many options to choose. I'm not sure. And then managed to get these awesome sticks. Look at that. Look at the detail on it. Just laying on the road. It's almost like someone's going, take me, just take me. You know you want me. There are loads of little details on it. It looks so nicely aged, and that's going to add even more character coming across from the top section to add to our other roots we've already got there, so we can use it to sort of come out a bit if you like. But yeah, that's going to be cool. Right, so I'm going to put the moss in. There's no sort of structure to it, just put it where you want it and then away you go. Well, I think that's looking sick, guys. I'm not sure if I want to use the branches I got or not because it's already looking awesome. Look at that. Pancho's down there, look. Look at what's going on. Hey, I like that. I like it a lot. Then we look up and boom. Okay, so what to do next? Well, I've actually just remembered I've got one of these ultrasonic mist maker things. I completely forgot that I bought it like 2 months ago. Let's get that in there. The mist is in. Right, where is it? Right, so I put it in at the front to start with, and you could see it looked ugly, and I thought, well, how can I hide this? And I remembered, obviously, you've got the little back section at the back back section at the back, obviously. Just around here, look, you can see that little, where that drip's going, that's not actually it yet because I haven't turned it on, but it's just submerged in the water and it's just hung there. It's just hung from the tension of the wire going into the water. There is a sweet spot, so you just have to sort of lower it to where that sweet spot is, and then I've hooked it over the top, up there, and then brought it down and plugged it in. So let's turn it on and have a little look. And we're on. Here it comes. It's quite cool the way it moves through. It comes through everything, look. I think that gives a really like sort of authentic look. Authentic to what I don't know, some kind of swamp maybe? It looks awesome, doesn't it? And the longer you leave it, the more it sort of builds up. But I quite like it at that sort of level. Do you know what I mean? I don't want it just plumes and plumes. I just want that little effect from it, and it's really giving that. I love it. Okay, so it's time to start putting some stuff under the water now. I don't want to go crazy in this. I want to keep as much space as I can. Look at it all overflowing! Haha! This is awesome. Look at that. I never had one before, unless you can probably tell by my excitement, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to wrap some moss around some stones, so it'll be moss, Java ferns and things like that. I just want a little bit because I want to keep as much space as possible for Pancho. Better see him and feed him. Yes! Oh yes! Look at that mist! So here's the planting we've got, guys. I've got Anubias, Wendelov, Java fern, normal Java fern, and moss balls. Well, they're not moss balls, they're stones, look, with moss tied to them, and I'll cut some footage now of how I did those. Yeah, so I borrowed the moss from this tank here, which is the Ranchus tank. It's way too much in there. It was covering the whole floor, which just means it's going to trap waste. So perfect, we can put them to good use in the new tank. But yeah, all of these plants are from Tropica, guys. So, and this is testament. This stuff has been sat in a bucket for 2 weeks with no lights at all, and look how good it still looks. Crazy. Oh, and this moss is the Taiwan moss. Look, it's really nice details. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Really nice. That look good in there. Let's get it in. Right, guys. So the plants are in. Look, I did film a whole section on me, like putting them all down the bottom here and between the rocks, and that, but it just didn't look right. I went back to edit it after I put them in. And I looked at it before when it's open at the front, and it looks so much better to have the contrast as it is. Look at it from a distance. That is looking good. Okay, there's one more thing to do, just to finish it off, and I want to use one of the sticks because, as you can see, look, I've put a couple there as a little trial, and I think they look really good in that foreground area. So I think this piece can maybe go. Oh, look at that! Ah, yes, just placed in. Oh, come on! Yes, loving it. This is ready. The filter's got cycled media in it. Let's get Pancho in. This is great. Pancho's gone. He's gone straight over to that little shaded area I made for him, so that's perfect. So I've got loads coming up, guys. That 90cm tank I showed you is going to be for Pancho. I'm just collecting the resources and all that sort of thing at the moment. That takes time if you want to get it right. So we can power feed him in here for a while, switch him over. I've already said that like 100 times, haven't I? Anyway, so if you did like the video, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you on the next one.